Hang on.
Now this is Queen Anne's lace, John.
Yeah.
You notice that little tiny blue flower in there.
Yep.
If you don't see that flower, and if you don't see these little microscopic hairs, feel the stem there.
Oh, right, I got them.
And what's it smell like?
Kind of like a carrot or something?
Smells like carrot. Because that's what it is. This is wild carrot. But those are three things. The blue flower, the hairs on the stem, and then the bottom end smells like carrot and looks like carrot. This is a young one. The carrot will get probably 5 inches, 4 or 5 inches on there. So that's a wild carrot.
Great.
Go ahead, Dick.
Right, this plant is called Heal All. See, it has a funny top. These have gone to seed, so they're turning brown. If you look.
This one's one.
Yeah, they have beautiful small purple flowers. I think you can, yeah, here, right here on the middle of the stem, you can still see one.
Okay.
And they're, each one of these spaces have the purple flower, and you can boil these up. It helps with, like, if you have a stomach ache, and just a general, you know, spring tonic, make a tea out of it. You can eat the leaves as well, just makes you feel better. It's called Heal All.
Oh, and so you boil the tops and the leaves both?
You can boil, well, you can boil, I wouldn't boil this now that it's gone to seed, but you can collect seed heads and then plant them again, you know, wherever you want them to be planted.
And that's in the mint family, so you'll have the opposite leaves and the square stalk.
Oh, okay.
If you feel here.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, John, this one is called Daisy Fleabane, and you can see the little flowers look like daisies on there. That's alternate leaves on the stem. Okay, and the natives actually use this as a flea repellent. They would take and crush up those leaves or boil them in water, and you could use that on your animals to repel fleas and ticks. You can do the same thing. You can smudge this inside of your shelter. In other words, burn the leaves on a coal bed as a smudge, and that will help clean out your shelter, clean insects and different things out of the brush that you've put on top of your natural shelter. Real good one to remember. Daisy Fleabane.
And you can also crush the leaves and rub it on yourself for repellent.
Cool.
These are wild gooseberries, and they're easy to tell because they usually have purple berries, and their leaves are kind of shaped
like a goose's foot, huh?
Yeah, like a goose's foot. And
wow.
you can eat these and sometimes make jelly out of them if you collect enough.
Alright, if you can see this, John, I've just picked the tip off of this. This is milkweed. And this milk that comes out of this, milkweed is actually edible in a couple different stages. The pods are really good if you boil them like corn on the cob. Oh. And you can eat those pods when they're very, very young before they go to seed. But this milk, if you have a wart or if you have a severe cut, you could put this on there and it will help to, it melts warts right off. It's like a latex that's in a latex rubber, and it's very good. But you can see that milk's just exuding out of there, just dripping down. And the milkweed is opposite leaves, going in different directions. Okay. And then, of course, when it gets older, there'll be a seed pod that goes on there. This is the first year, and I believe it's a 2-year cycle for that milkweed.
Oh.
Well, here we've come across a poke plant. You can see it's pretty tall, and you can see the stem is going purple. That means it's not a young one. If I were to harvest off of here, I would only take these green tips. But if you cut the whole plant down, it'll send up all brand new shoots. These will turn into deep, deep red berries. We did a video last year where one of our daughters made a little ink, what do you call it?
An inkwell with ink.
An inkwell, yeah, and that makes an awesome, awesome dye. You don't want to eat these berries either. They're toxic. And if you're cooking it, always remember to do it in a couple changes of water.
That's the one you can get sick from if you don't do that.
Yeah, we actually had a friend who decided they were going to try and eat some leaves and got pretty sick to their stomach on about 6 or 7 leaves.
And so this is the one they call like poke, like you make poke salad?
And I can them, so we have greens all winter.
Okay.
All right, right here, John, next to the poke, is a wild raspberry, wild blackberry, something in that family. Typical 3 leaves. You can see these 3 leaves. The leaves have double tooth in them, and they're shaped similar to a heart, kind of. Of course, it's got a conglomerate berry. Now, one of the things about these berries, all red and black conglomerate berries are edible. So you don't have to worry about mixing them up. Most of the white ones are edible as well. But if it's got a conglomerate berry, which is one berry is made up of lots of little tiny pieces, they're all edible.
Oh, good.
And I don't think there's any exceptions to that. None that I know of. Maybe one of our viewers could correct us if we're wrong on that. But you can see the little plant here. And it's shooting a trailer out, and I just got stuck. They also have thorns in them. So you got to be a little careful with that. But you can see.
This here is sassafras. You can tell by the way the sassafras how it looks, because it looks like it looks like 3 fingers, and some of the leaves look like mittens, and these parts of them look like palms of your hand. So that's a way to tell sassafras, and you can make nice tea out of it. Plus you can eat them.
You want to eat that leaf? Is that a good one to eat? Sassafras has a mucilungus quality to it, so it's very good as an antibiotic on wounds as well, and it will can be used to thicken soups and stews. And one of the things Rachel didn't mention, typically has that green. You can see that green right there on the stem, or on the
leaves go out.
Well, not only that, but down here further down, it's typically green, and it has a very pungent odor. So it's a good one to know. And a very edible plant out there.
Would you chew that up and then put it on it like a poultice?
You could. Let you taste that. This one, John, is wild rose. And you can see this has what's called a composite leaf. So one leaf is made up of 7 little leaflets on this one. And it has the typical rose with the thorns pointing down. Do you see that?
Yep.
So that's how you can tell that out, as opposed to greenbrier, or as opposed to something else. And roses, of course, have a lot of uses. This stalk right here is pretty good for a hand drill stalk because it's nice and thick at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So if I was to dry this, I could use this as a hand drill. And this is just all wild rose right in here. But in the fall, of course, this will come out with roses, and then the rose hips, which are very edible, high in vitamin C. And made up the diet of many of the natives around here for their vitamin C content, because this is not an area high in pine where we are.
Okay.
So they would use the rose hips for their vitamin C content, and that would help them out.